Chapter 7 From Death to Mortal. Note: the picture is Leo. Luke took me to his apartment that night. He offered me the bed, but I was happy sleeping on the sofa. I didn't want him to see me cry. That night I cried myself to sleep. I never knew what it felt like to have real emotions. I knew what anger felt like, but to be able to cry came as a shock to me. I used to be sinister and lead others to the underworld. But being immortal, it made me feel so vulnerable. I felt defenseless. It was the morning and I was wrapped up in a small red blanket. Luke came in and sat next to me. "You don't like it? Do you?" he says to me. I can cry. My chest feels heavy, and worst of all, I can die now, I say, devastated. Luke pats my back, trying to reassure me. Luke, what if I never can go home again? I dread the thought, not being able to be a Reaper. I love it. Luke begins to chuckle. What's so funny? I ask. I once thought that when I came face to face with you. That's why I told Jamie I may never see him again. Look at me now. Alive and helping the girl trying to kill me. I must be mad I told you. It's just my duty, I say. Looking away. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I learned being trapped in 2 dimensions. You must be some powerful Reaper to cast a love spell on me, he says. Looking at me in awe. Love spell? Reapers don't do love spells. The only love spell a Reaper could do is make a man fall for their gorgeous looks. I didn't cast a love spell on him, Luke. Reapers cannot love. That means they can't cast a love spell, I say. Turning to face him, he looks at me strangely. I'm not falling for you. I can't be. It's normal. Every boy is like this around me, I say. Shrugging it off. No, you don't understand. I don't love anyone. What do you mean, I ask. He opens his mouth to answer when there was a knock on the door. Luke gets up to go answer. Just as he twists the door handle, the door comes smacking into his head. He steps back, shocked as Leo walks in holding Jamie by his shirt. Dude, I have a frickin' head, you know, Luke screams. Yeah, Leo says, throwing Jamie to the ground. Always know how to make an entrance, Leo the first mutter. Listen, your old man ain't happy, Rave. And what you want me to do? I can't exactly go talk to him, Rave. This is serious. He wants to know why you're like this, and you're not going to tell him no, but he's coming here. What? Luke screams. He grabs Jamie and runs into the other room. Tell me when he's gone, he says as he slams the door. What do you mean he's coming here, I ask. Raven Rouge Reaper. I hear the familiar voice of my father boom. Oh great, here's the king of the underworld. At least I feel a little better now. My father smashes into the room with his silver scythe in hand. Still, he said my middle name not good. How are you, mortal? He bellows. How? Ask the bloody girl from the prophecy, I shout. Turning away from him. What are you saying, he asks. Raising an eyebrow at me. He wasn't in his true form. Probably due to actually leaving the underworld. She's the one who's done this. She turned me mortal. I scream. My father just nods and swings his scythe in the air. He always does this. Comes to me for a second. Screams, then leaves. Honestly, you wouldn't think he's the god of death. Coward, I mutter, slumping back into the sofa. Leo walks to the door where Luke and Jamie were and slowly opened it. The 2 of them collapsed on the floor. Were you eavesdropping? I ask in disbelief. What? No, Jamie says, slowly backing away. Leo places a hand on his shoulder. He stops moving immediately. Luke begins to growl at him. Get your filthy demon hands off him. Nah, I'm good. I needed an arm rest, and just like that he began to lean on Jamie. I sat back down. My father's going to kill Eli. I know he is. Luke sat next to me and wiped a falling tear from my eye. Great, I'm crying. Why should I care? She's the one who got me into this mess. Stupid prophecy powers. You try to help a girl and get turned into a mortal. All your powers robbed from you. Well, I don't care about that stupid blonde. She can die for all I care. But then why was I crying just thinking about her death? I never cry at someone's death. I normally smile. What has this girl done to me, Raven? What's wrong? Luke asks me. She's a witch, I tell you. She did this with her stupid half-breed powers. Half-breeds are dangerous. I should have realized that. Then again, she hadn't learned how to use her powers. How did she strip me of mine, the vampire? He turned her. Is it possible he corrupted her, Rave? Leo says of course it would be the vampire. That's the only solution. It had to be. Her angel half awakened once the venom touched her blood. When she drank his blood, her body began to change. Not only from a vampire point of view, but also an angel's. I will have to contact Gabe. See what he thinks of the situation. I will also have to find Ally. Oh, but how will I do that? I'm all the way in New York and she is in the middle of London. I don't have any money for a plane ticket and neither does Luke. I don't really want help from Leo either, Reaper. Jamie says I need Gabe. Perhaps he can take me to see her. Oh, but how will I contact Gabe? If I ask Leo for help, he will just ask for a kiss. Why did I have to turn mortal? Wait. Could I contact my father? No, then he'd kill Ally. Wait, oh Lord, Ally Raven. Luke shakes me out of my thoughts. I stare into his eyes, coming back to reality. What's wrong? Leo says in anticipation. I took a long breath and firmly said, Ally is in danger. Chapter 8. All is not what as it seems. Note, the picture is Luke. What do you mean in danger? Leo asks me, puzzled. For God's sake, Leo, are you stupid? Clearly I am, he says sarcastically. Luke just stares at me. Now let's see, how can I put this simply in a way his small brain will understand it. I know, right? Imagine this, boys. Your only daughter has been changed. And the person responsible is the only one to change her back. So would you just leave her like that? Or get her returned to normal, I say, sighing as the boys finally realize what I was saying. Smart lads, oh God, Luke says, backing into the sofa. I'll stop him, Leo says, about to leave when he notices my eyes glaring at him. You will do no such thing, contact Gabriel. Leo gives me a funny look, so I snap my head towards his direction. Now I beam. Geez, even as a human you're scary, he says, bringing out his phone. He dials Gabriel and soon he appears in the room. This is why godly acquaintances have their ups and downs in Leo's case. Gabe looks at me puzzled. Don't ask, I sigh. Find Ally before my father does anything to her. Understand, he nods and then leaves instantly. No words needing to be spoken. This is why I like Gabriel more than Leo. He doesn't flirt with me. I slump back into the sofa and close my eyes. When I open them again, everyone is staring at me. What I say? What are we supposed to do? Leo asks me. I shrug. Haven't you got any devil duties to handle? I ask. Leo suddenly realizes something. Crap. Dad told me to watch over Hell today. Gotta go. Red smoke swirls around his body until he was no longer standing before me. Typical, I mutter. Suddenly I hear a growl coming from somewhere in the room. I look around cautiously, but there is no sign of any animal in the room. I turn back to the boys and find them snickering. This is not a laughing matter. There is an invisible animal in the room. This makes them roar with laughter. I look at them with disgust. Luke places a hand on my shoulder and calms himself down. Raven, that growl you heard was your stomach. I look at him puzzled. My stomach has never growled before. Is he mad? Jamie, still laughing, says, you're hungry, Reaper. I have a name, I spat. Realizing that now I'm mortal, I have to eat to survive. I'll go make breakfast, Luke says, getting up and walking towards the kitchen. Jamie is still laughing in the background. It's not that funny, I snarl. He just laughs even more. Giving up, I slump back into the sofa and decide to watch something on TV. I've watched TV once before while I was in London, and I really liked the BBC network. I scroll through all the channels but can't seem to find it. Jamie comes up next to me. Do you not have BBC? I ask him. I don't think so. It's a British network, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not here. I really liked BBC, I say, sighing. Why don't we see what's on Fox? We could watch Family Guy. I give a simple nod as he turns on this program called Family Guy. It's stupid, but I do find some humor in it. This particular episode had death in it. I couldn't imagine my father helping someone because they did something wrong in their marriage. Reapers have no emotions apart from anger and hate. We can't love or sympathize with others. Luke comes back into the room holding a plate with eggs and bacon. This is eggs and bacon, Luke says, coming towards me. Does he think I'm stupid? I know I have eaten before. But you didn't even know your stomach growled. Jamie says to me, confused. Just because I don't need to eat doesn't mean I never have. Surely Reapers need something to survive, Luke says. I nod. Indeed we do, I say, munching on my toast. Well, mind filling me in on the details, he asks me. Not that it's any of your business, but to survive us Reapers consume souls, I say, as the boys look shockingly at me. It's not much, I say, shrugging it off. The boys still stare at me. I don't know about you, but where I come from staring is rude, I say. Still eating my breakfast. But you eat people, Jamie says, astonished. No, I consume souls. There is a difference. How's there a difference? You eat people, Luke yells. I stand up in front of him. You eat animals. Isn't that the same? I say, pointing to the eggs and bacon on his plate. It's not the same. Humans have feelings. And animals don't. It's the circle of life, Luke. At the end of the day, we all need to survive. But you eat people. No, I don't. I eat souls. A soul is what every human has. Reapers eat them when people die and move on from the underworld to either hell or heaven. They don't need them anymore, as it will be decided if they get reborn or not. They don't need memories of a past life anymore, so it is a Reaper's job to get rid of them. Devils do a similar thing. They get humans to sign their souls over to them, and they consume all the bad memories that human has had, leaving the rest of the soul for Reapers or angels. Angels take the good memories from the life, and Reapers eat the spurt of the soul. Understand? Yet the boys just stare at me. You're a monster. Jamie beams at me. Oh, I'm the monster. Oh, sorry, I'm not the one killing my own planet with pollution from factories and cars, but when I try to make the human race move on and carry on the circle of life. I'm the monster. I apologize. My brain mustn't function like yours, I say, walking towards the door. Where are you going? Luke asks me. Away from the real monsters, I say, slamming the door behind me. Chapter 9: The Real Monsters. I storm down the corridor and hear the sound of a door opening behind me. Raven, come back, I hear Luke shouting. No, I say, stubbornly, walking down the stairs. I hear the door slam and the sound of footsteps running after me. Raven, please. He grabs my shoulder and turns me so that I'm facing him. I cross my arms over my chest and glare into his blue eyes. Leo will kill me if you run off, he says, catching his breath. What did he just say? I'm sorry, are you only running after me so that Leo doesn't kill you? No, it's not like that, he says, stuttering. It's not like that, seriously. You could have fooled me. I say, turning around to walk down the stairs. Raven, please, there's something about you. And I don't understand what it is, but I want to know more. I turn around slowly and look into his sorrowful eyes. I feel the same way, I mutter, looking down. Luke smiles at me. Why don't we learn together then? He asks me. Hopefully I nod. I suppose so. Great. Let's head back and finish breakfast, he says, turning around back towards the apartment. Just as I'm about to follow him, I sense an unknown presence nearby. Now I shouldn't be able to sense this presence, but it's cold, which means a ghost is nearby. Yeah, you go ahead, I'll catch up, Luke shrugs. It's up to you, he says, walking back to his apartment. I turn around and scan the corridor behind me. Nothing's there. As I turn back around, I come face to face with a ghost that looks exactly like Ally. Ally, I say, staring into her blue eyes. The ghost simply shakes her head. I am not Ally. My name is Lillian. I could have sworn that name sounds familiar. Is she the late vampire queen? Listen, I don't have anything to make you alive again. I take lives, not give them, and even now I can't do that. I know, she says, smiling as she raises her soft palm up with a red orb glowing in her hand. These belong to you, she says, motioning for me to take them. What are they? I ask. Your powers, she says, smiling. I take a step towards them and firmly grab the orb into my hands. Smash the orb and your powers will be returned. Thank you, I whisper. She nods and disappears before I can say any more. I never got to ask how she got my powers. As I raise my hands in the air ready to smash the orb, a pair of strong hands grab onto my arms. Not letting me drop the red orb. Let me go. I say through gritted teeth. Poor little Reaper. You're helpless without your powers. One of his hands lets go of my arm and takes the orb out of my grasp. I snicker at the poor attempt of stealing my powers. Once a power orb is broken, the powers immediately return to their owners. You won't be able to keep my powers. Once that orb smashes, they will return to me. Yes, but at the moment you don't have them, so it makes kidnapping you a whole lot easier. Now that I concentrate on his voice, it sounds familiar, his husky Scottish accent. The way he speaks. It sounds like a shapeshifter I once crossed paths with. Shapeshifter, I say in disbelief. He chuckles at my remark. Smart lass. I'm surprised you remember me. His tone starts to change. The name's Jack, he says in Scottish accent. You're a shapeshifter. I say, struggling against his hold. I lass. That I am, and you're going to help me kill someone. Just as I'm about to retaliate, Jack covers my mouth with a cloth and I stupidly breathe in the fumes and feel my eyes slowly start to close. The last thing I heard was the sound of someone shouting my name. It was Luke. Jack, are you sure she's a Reaper? Do you dare question me? I hear voices in front of me, but my eyelids feel too heavy to move. No, sir, it's just Reapers can't love. Don't you think I know that the shapeshifter beamed? So why did you bring her lover, Sir Lover? Does he mean Luke? Luke's here, shut up, elf. So the henchman is an elf. He's not her lover, that ain't a lie. But she's a princess. God, I hate being called a princess. And I'm assuming this is her bodyguard or something. I'm quite glad shapeshifters are this stupid, otherwise he'd figure out who Luke is, and that's not an option at this point in time. I need to find out how I can get his soul, otherwise there's going to be some tough competition heading my way. And as a Reaper, I hate losing. All of a sudden I manage to open my eyelids, and there next to me is Luke, laying unconscious. I suddenly get an urge to punch that sly shapeshifter. But why I don't have feelings for Luke? I'm a Reaper. But then again, I'm not one now, am I? I look away to find Jack staring right at me. Well then, you're awake, lass. Mind telling me who your bodyguard here is? He's not my bodyguard. I don't need protecting by anyone. I spit, glaring into his green eyes. He holds his hands up in surrender. All right, lassie, calm down. Do you want your powers or not? He says, motioning to the red orb on the shelf behind him. I sheepishly nod. Good. Then you will kill one person for me, he says, smiling sinisterly. You're a shapeshifter. Why can't you kill him yourself? You're practically the king of deceit. You're right there, but this one's an immortal and he's been messing with me for far too long. Only a Reaper of high class like you can kill him. And how much of a problem is he, you tell me? He's sitting right there. At that moment I turn to see where he's pointing and realize it's at Luke. But Luke's not immortal, I say, Raven. Haven't you already tried taking his soul? Jack asks me. I'm astonished he knew. Well, yes, but how did you? You were trying to take his soul as a human instead of an immortal, which is why it didn't work. He has been cheating death for far too long now. And considering you don't have feelings for him, it should be a win-win, correct? You get the soul of a nuisance and I get rid of a problem. Have we got a deal? I stared deeply into the dark green pools before me. Just moments ago I wanted to punch him for tying Luke up, and now he expects me to kill him. I am soon disrupted from my thoughts as a loud smash hits the ground. Red smoke surrounds my body and I can feel my powers coming back. All my feelings for Luke are gone. Instead, they are filled with hatred. The hatred of an immortal, the best souls to collect. No wonder I couldn't kill him. Jack smiles as he sees me in my true form. In my black robe and long obsidian hair. He hands me my ruby scythe and I swing it down. Chapter 10 Tales of War. Raven, stop, I hear Leo say. Leo the first say, turning to face him. He stopped me from taking Luke's soul. I can't take his soul, what was I thinking? Who's this twit? Jack says, making eye contact with Leo's yellow orbs. I am the Prince of Hell, if you must know. Leo screeches, glaring at the shapeshifter. Leo, why the hell did you stop me? I bellow. Realizing my whole mission all this time was to collect his soul. Now that I know he is an immortal, it will be a lot easier, but then again, something inside me has changed. I don't want to take Luke's soul anymore. I don't want to cause him any pain. What's happened to me? Well, you know Cora. Goddess of the coastal region, he begins. I nod. Thinking about the new goddess. If he stopped me because of one of her little visions, then it might be serious, yeah. What has a mermaid got to do with this, I ask. Rolling my eyes, well, she got a vision. Long story short, you're gonna declare war, he states. My face drops at his words. I'm going to what, I ask. Finding his statement unbelievable. She's going to do what Jack says, joining in. For me to declare war is a very strange thing. I've never even heard a demigod declare war. Okay, Leo. Thanks for stopping me and all, but couldn't you come up with a better excuse than that? I ask, hoping this was all a joke. A war is not what the world needs right now. Raven, it's not an excuse. You're going to declare war. You think I'd joke about that? Leo's face turns from the playful Leo I've always known to the serious Leonardo. You know it's serious when Leonardo comes out. And I'd know, Jack, come with me, I say. Walking away from Luke, but what about the pest lass? I thought you needed his soul. I spin around to face him dead in the eye. You listen to me, Jackie boy. If a single hair on his head is harmed, it's your soul I will be collecting, understood? I say with a stone-cold expression. Yes, ma'am, he says, saluting to me with a scared look on his face. Now if I'm going to declare war, I need your help, I say in all seriousness. And what will that be, Jack asks, raising an eyebrow at me. Go to the coastal region and tell their army that war is approaching and I want them ready for battle. I say, not making room for any argument. Jack firmly understands my orders and makes his way to the coastal region. It's been 3 years since Cora was declared goddess of the ocean. And I've been receiving letters of new possible threats from her constantly. However, war was one I did not expect. Cora has always been a sweet girl, but I do feel sorry for her. She was dumped into being a goddess at only 16, whereas I have been raised into it. She didn't have a clue on how to rule over a region, whereas I am not even a full god. However, I can declare wars, which is why I need to find out why on earth I would do such a thing. I grab my scythe and transport myself home. I storm past my father, which made him sadly follow me. Can't have any peace and quiet, can I? Raven, you're back, my father beams. I stare into his eyes. Something doesn't feel quite right here. Yes. I am back, I say, still staring intently into his dark garnet orbs. I knew it. I knew if I scared the girl you would be back to normal, he says, revealing the little inkling I had. Here's the thing I was missing. You did what? I scream at him. He takes a step back away from me. This is amusing. The god of death is afraid of a demigod. Raven, I didn't harm the girl. I simply told her if you didn't get your powers back in the next 3 days, I would personally remove her soul from her body, he says, explaining it as if it was no big deal. Oh, because that's clearly not harming her. I grab a few potions and storm past him. Where are you going? Death asks me to declare a war. I say, transporting myself back to where Luke was. I look at him to find him awake and to witness him stare at me in horror. Why is he staring at me like that? He looked at me like that when we first met. He had a look of hatred on his face. Why is he aiming it at me? I haven't done anything. He beams, causing me to drop my healing potion in shock. Luke, what's wrong? I tried to kill me. I heard everything, Raven, from the point you got your powers back, he says out of hatred. Luke, that wasn't me, I swear. How can you lie to me when I'm sitting right in front of you? I heard you and that shapeshifter talk. I'm a pest to you, Luke, you're not. I can't believe I was actually falling for you, Raven. I'm disgusted at myself. Did he just say he was falling for me? I think I was falling for him too. The only difference is, he's disgusted at falling in love with me. All because of a stupid mistake. A mistake I shouldn't have let happen. I feel a warm tear drop down my cheek. Reapers can't cry, so why was I? You actually think I'm going to fall for the innocent girl trick? Reapers can't cry, Raven, he says, menacingly pointing a finger at me, accusing me of pulling a facade. It's not fake, I sob. It's not fake. There you go again, lying to me. Can't you just realize your lies aren't working anymore? Just give up and tell me the truth. I'm not lying, Luke, I say, feeling the tears burst out of me as every word he says deeply hurts me. I don't believe you, he spits out. That was it. That's what made me crack. I fall to my knees, sobbing. I can't stand the thought of Luke not being able to believe me and, most importantly, not being able to love me. Why was I devastated over this? All these emotions I shouldn't have to suffer with. I shouldn't have the burden of crying. I'm a Reaper, for God's sake. I'm not supposed to be physically able to cry or love. But Luke's different. He changed me. Of course he won't stop me from my duty, but why am I falling for him? He hasn't got any powers to make me fall in love with him. He's just an immortal. It made sense when I was mortal because I experienced feelings then. I knew I was in love, but once I got my powers, all of these feelings should have dispersed along with the stupid mortal version of myself. I can't stop the tears. They are frequently flowing from my ruby eyes. I hear footsteps behind me. Can't you see she's telling the truth, you idiot? I hear Leo's familiar voice say behind me, a Reaper can't cry. Demon. Luke beams at him. I know too frickin' well that a Reaper can't cry. Do you know how many times I attempted to make this girl laugh? I know all too well she can't laugh, love, or cry. It never stopped me loving her though. I'm her best friend, even I can tell she's not lying. And I'm a frickin' demon, Luke. Do you know what demons do? We trick idiots like you into believing us. Reapers are different. They have no emotions other than anger. So believe me when I say that when Raven laughs or cries, they are true emotions, impossible or not. She is not lying, he states in a dominant tone, almost shocking me to the core at his dominance. Almost Leo the first managed to sob out. He comforts me and helps me to my feet. You're actually believing all her lies. Luke says in disgust. Yes, I am Lukey boy. I believe her because she fell so hard for you that she couldn't even take your soul. Do you know how much soul collecting means to reapers? I guess you don't. Leo spits in hatred towards the immortal. Raven, is this true? He asks me, staring into my ruby eyes. I pull myself together and sternly start to speak. Yes, it was true, Luke. I think I loved you. But now I see what you're truly like. I could never love a monster, Luke. Even I have standards, I say, grabbing my scythe. I reach out for Leo and grab his hand. Where are you going? Luke asks me, shock lining his tone, and for the second time today, I repeat the same words once again. I'm going to declare war. Chapter 11. Death knocks again. Declare war, he says. Declare war, I say. Somehow I never thought my life would come to this. Me falling in love with a mortal. Or should I say an immortal? If I was told this by somebody a couple of weeks ago, I would most probably have stolen their soul then, and there yet with Leo looking into my eyes. It's clear I had fallen for Luke. And it broke my heart when he said he's disgusted at falling in love with me. Raven, why are you going to declare war? Leo says. Standing before me in the underworld, you tell me. You're the one that said I was going to declare war. After all, I say to him as I look into the distance. Souls wander endlessly across the plains. Never knowing where to go, they just wander. Sometimes I wish I could just wander endlessly without having any troubles disturbing my mind. Raven, I want you to know that I will always be by your side, Leo says, his eyes turning a golden shade. I turn to him and give him a genuine smile. Not a smirk, a smile, I know, Leo. But I don't understand why I would declare war all of a sudden, I say. Confusion washing over my face. Perhaps it's to do with that vampire king. Leo suggests he could be right. He's always causing trouble. I know you two have some bad blood, but seriously, I want to know why on earth I would declare war, I say, sighing as I rake through my mind of possible solutions to this problem. Maybe it's because of him, Leo says, pointing into the distance. I look to where he is pointing and almost drop my scythe. Callum is in the world of the dead as a spirit. That's impossible, he shouldn't be here. Taking a closer look at him, I notice one difference to his soul rather than the others. He's conscious. The reason souls wander endlessly across these plains is because they have unfinished business. Yet Callum is looking all around him, not recognizing where he is. Did he die? How could the vampire king's brother be dead unless? I storm my way up to him and stand right in front of him. He looks at me with a confused expression. Why are you here? I demand, wanting to know how he was here unconscious. You think I chose to be here? Honestly, I'd prefer to be back in the cage my little brother placed me in, he huffs, looking at me straight in the eye. How did you get here? I shout, standing with my scythe in hand. Why do you think? I was stabbed by my own brother, he says. That's impossible. Vampires can survive small attacks like that, I state. Yeah, well, the knife he used wasn't your everyday kitchen knife, he retorts. Huffing, you mean? Yes, I mean exactly that. But you wouldn't be able to get here without a Reaper escort. Did a Reaper bring you here? I ask, remembering that small fact honestly. All I remember is being stabbed, he says, looking at me with a sorrowful look. That king is going too far. He's going to be overthrown soon if he doesn't think carefully. You're Death's daughter, right? Callum says, looking into my eyes. You're definitely a Reaper, he says, seeming to inspect my body as he looks up down. Indeed, I am Death's daughter. And why on earth would you need to know that? I question. I need to save Ally. I know you're good friends with her and Adam deceived her. He states, his expressions changing to one of worry. Adam took over the throne because you were careless. I beam, remembering the countless deaths caused by this little vampire. That's the funny part. All those crimes committed at my time of reign. I didn't have a clue about it, he says, looking at me with honesty in his eyes. You didn't. But you're the one who committed them. I stare at him in disbelief. He's lying. He can't be telling the truth, can he? I found the same knife I was stabbed with near each body, Raven. He's the one who killed them, he states in all seriousness. So why is Ally in danger? I ask, pushing aside the fact that he called me her friend. It really isn't the time for arguing. Adam loves Ally. He wouldn't dare hurt her. Once he marries her, he will have stronger powers, far worse than hell. He beams. Did someone say hell? Leo says, stepping up next to me. Leonardo, not now, I mutter in a dominant tone. Must be serious if you're calling me Leonardo, he retorts. That's because Adam is planning to kill Ally, Callum finally says, What I scream if the prophecy is correct. Ally is supposed to be our savior. The being to create peace over our world for the next 100 years. After he marries her, he will gain powers, but if he also kills her, he receives her powers. Therefore becoming a god. No, I gasp in horror. Raven, I think we found out why you are going to declare war, Leo says. Just then an alarm starts to bellow around the plains. The siren began to beam all across the underworld. What's that? Callum asks. I'll explain later. I grab my scythe and point it at him. I'm sending you to a room in the castle wing. There you will wait for Ally. You can explain everything to her then. Black smoke begins to appear around his legs. I'm giving his life back. He isn't supposed to be dead. He needs to take over the throne. Once I was sure Callum had entered the room in the castle wing, I make my way back towards the main entrance of the castle. Raven, wait up, Leo says, running after me. This alarm wasn't your ordinary fire warning. No, this alarm meant a being from Earth made their way into the underworld. You can't enter this world unless escorted a reaper. By a god, or if you're God. If you're dead, then you would already have been escorted here, so who is this intruder? Raven, what's going on? Leo asks me once he finally catches up to my fast pace. An intruder has entered the underworld, I say, as I burst my way through the black doors of the castle. Father, I beam. He appears right in front of me looking shocked. What is it? I ask him, looking into his dark garnet orbs. His long bony finger points behind me. I spin myself around and find myself looking at the vampire princess. Jenna, what are you doing here? I ask. She looks out of breath, almost as if she had just ran a marathon. I need your help. Ally is in danger. Adam is trying to kill her or at least hurt her, she says. I look at Leo and he nods. I sigh as I grab my ruby scythe and spin it around the three of us, leaving my father behind. We appear outside the vampire castle doors. Jenna steps forward and crashes through the front doors. All right, brother, let's settle this once and for all. She screams. Jenna, what are you seriously gonna do? Slap me with a handbag, I hear Adam say as he laughs. What on earth is she thinking? She went inside without me and Leo. She better have a plan. I'm not saving two teenagers today. Oh, I won't be doing anything, Jenna replies. Great. Thanks for the help, Jenna, I highly appreciate it. Then what are you going to do? Adam says, laughing. He will stop laughing once he sees me again. Oh, I brought the cavalry. You brought the cavalry, he says, astonished. She called me and Leo the cavalry. She couldn't have thought of anything better, could she? I hear her snap her fingers. Assuming that's a signal to enter, nod to Leo. We both enter the room. Leo appearing next to the savior, lifting her up and holding her in his arms. Time to declare war. Chapter 12. The memories return. All these years I never thought I would declare war. I always thought it would most likely be my father, or at least I thought it would be my brother Blake. It's funny how I still remember his name after all this time. You would think that because he's the older brother, he would be the heir to the Reaper legacy. But as I said, there's a reason why I thought he would declare war. Like my name, his also has a meaning. Blake means dark. And he was given that name purposely. Everything he's ever done has a dark meaning. My brother was never interested in being heir to the legacy. He spent most of his time on Earth, mainly in the suburbs of England. On his 18th birthday, my father was ready to hand over the throne to him, but he disappeared. I was 14 when he left. It's been 2 years since he's been gone, and if he doesn't return in 2 more years, I will take over the throne. I've often wondered what he could be doing on Earth. Perhaps I shall meet him again, whether it's on the battlefield or not. That's the scary part. Will my brother support me? Or the enemy? He is known for his dark acts after all. Put her down, the king beams. Nah. I'm okay, thanks for the offer though, Leo answers. Cockily King Bloodbrook, I say, stepping forward. I smile evilly towards the king and notice allies staring towards me in shock. Weren't expecting to see me again, were you, angel goddess? There's going to be a war between us if you carry on screwing up. I beam as I stare into the king's now blood-red eyes. He begins to grin as he speaks. A war, you say? He laughs. Laugh all you like, your highness. You won't be laughing when you're at the other end of my blade. If it's a war you want, a war you shall get, he says, then looks back towards Ally. He's not going to, is he? He's not going to do the clutch thing where the girl is the prize, is he? And she will be the prize and he is what? I'm no prize, Ally says, looking scared. I try to give her a hopeful look, but it's too late to back down now. She needs to understand why this is happening. Then this is it. The prophecy is coming true, I say under my breath. Indeed it is, Adam says, smirking. I step forward. My side alongside me. I look up at Adam and back at Ally and Leo one more time. Ally has a little girl in her arms. It makes me realize the devastating consequences to this war. Many people will suffer from this, but it has been decreed and shall not be stopped. This war must happen, Adam Bloodrook. I Raven Reaper hereby decree a war against the supernatural and the gods. I state as confidently as I could when secretly inside I'm devastated. There was no other way. The war cannot be stopped. All I can do is hope the right side wins a war. Are you guys serious? Ally screams. Oh, Ally, you don't understand how serious this is going to get. I shall see you on the battlefield, Your Highness, I say while swirling my scythe in the air. Black smoke surrounds us all and I transport us all to the underworld. Ally needs to meet the gods and she's safer here. Once we were all stood in the underworld. Ally seems to look frantically across the room. Everyone is here. Who is she looking for? Where's Jenna? Ally says. Looking from corner to corner of the room. I'm here. She says, coming up from behind me, right on K. Jenna, right on K. Jenna comes up to Ally and slowly takes the little blonde girl out of Ally's arms. I'll get her to bed. You have a meeting with the gods, Jenna says. I look at Leo and he gives me a knowing smile, which means I could go ahead. I walk into the old conference room to find all the gods sitting at the table. Bickering amongst themselves. Silence, I beam, causing all the gods to look at me. Calm down. We do not want the angel goddess to think she is on the wrong side now, do we? I say, daring anyone to question me. Everyone stays silent. It's amazing how a 16-year-old demigod can make people fear them. I stand at the head of the table just as Leo walks in with Ally tailing behind him. Ally gazes upon the table, noticing all the gods sitting upon the wooden chairs. It's strange how mortals look at gods. Since I was nothing more than a babe, I considered these people as normal, everyday citizens except with amazing abilities. Gods, as you now all know. We are at war with the supernatural, I state just as Ally took her seat next to Leo. Murmur corrupted around the table. They do know all this. And shouldn't really be interrupting me, but I'll allow it considering this is going to be the first war in almost centuries. But do not fear. We have many strong gods among us, such as Leonardo Helling on the heir to hell, the captain of the heavenly guards, Gabriel II, and most importantly Charmaine, the angel goddess of harmony, I state pointing to Leo, Gabriel, and Ally. At that name everyone turns to face Ally. They haven't seen the goddess of harmony in a long time, so they must be surprised to see her sitting among us. You're Charmaine, Ally. That's the angel goddess's real name. I hear Leo whisper to Ally. Welcome to the family, Charmaine. I know it's going to be hard becoming a god, but she has such strong powers. And those powers could help aid us in the war. At that moment in time, for the first time in my life, I feel like I am being watched. By whom? I don't know, but I feel like I will be seeing them in the near future. Chapter 13, Darkness Returns. Raven, I can't take part in this war, Ally says, staring at me straight into my ruby eyes. Every god at the table suddenly stops their gossiping and looks straight at the goddess of harmony. She begins to sink back into her chair. I look her dead in her sapphire pools, daring her to look away, and why not? You're a goddess after all, I say, starting to glare at her. For a moment she was at a loss for words. Eventually, she finally plucks up the courage to speak. The war is against my boyfriend, she says, almost stuttering after those words. Everyone at the table begins to laugh, including myself and Leo. It's funny how she can think a monster like him as her boyfriend. She is too naive. What's so funny? She asks cluelessly. Charmaine, sweetheart, do you not know what your boyfriend did? The goddess of nature asks Charmaine, what did he do? She asks. I sigh as I turn towards her to come face to face. Your boyfriend killed Callum, I say, causing silence to overcome the room. What? She screams. I try to give her a look of sympathy, but she was no longer looking at me. Her world was crumbling bit by bit. God knows what on earth she was thinking about. He also tried to kill Eliza, but she ran away from him, making him realize it was you he wanted to kill, I say in a monotone voice. Tears begin streaming down her face. The poor thing. She's been thrust into the world of the supernatural all because of a person who claims to be her true love to find out he's out to kill her. Not to mention she's also a goddess. I wonder what she's thinking about. It's hard being a god. And considering I will be taking over the throne too, things will get a lot more crazy around here. What will happen next? Will Charmaine surpass the king with my help, or will we lose? Again, I could feel the eyes of someone boring into me. I look up at the table, but everyone is looking only at Ally. So where are these stares coming from? Charmaine, are you okay? A god asks Ally. I look at her face, it's become red and puffy. Clearly she wasn't okay. Yeah, I'm great, she says. Attempting to hold back a sob, this girl is so naive. If she expects me to believe that pathetic little excuse, she has another thing coming. Seriously. You expect me to believe that, I say, peering down at her. She's idiotic to think I would be fooled by her lies. You just discovered that your boyfriend killed your best friend's brother, and you found out that he tried to kill your fake daughter. Do you really expect me to think you're okay? I beam. She's become the complete opposite to before. She's easy to read before. I didn't know what she was thinking. Now I know exactly what's going on just by looking at her facial expression. And here's the trick: reapers can't read minds. Here's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on a trip to the coastal region. I've sent my general to tell them to prepare. If we leave now, we can get ready for war. Any objections? Any objections? Why would I even say that? No one dares to defy me. Good Ally, you're with me, I say, ready to move. I notice a few confused stares at the table and sigh. Her name is Charmaine, yes, but she's been called Ally, and she is most comfortable with that, I say, rolling my eyes. The table grows silent as every god stares into my eyes. Gods. They are not what you would expect them to be like. Anyone have a problem with that, I say, actually wanting someone to prove me wrong. Again, all I receive is silence. Daughter of death. Here all week. Good Ally, come on, I say. Opening the door. Wait now, she asks, surprised. For God's sake, woman, get a move on. I have someone waiting. Not to mention the fact that I still feel eyes burning through me. Yes, now I beam as I motion her to follow me. After we leave the room filled with gods, silence was falling over us. There are no words of communication as I storm down the corridor. Raven, please wait for me. Ally calls to me a few steps behind. I stop for a moment. What I'm about to show her could break our trust, and I need that trust in order to win this war. Forgive me, goddess. I begin to carry on, storming down the corridor. Once I reach the end of the corridor, I slowly turn around to face her. I still sense a presence nearby. But where could it be coming from? Now you may be shocked at what you see in this room, I say, lowering my voice so that the unknown presence can't hear us. Why? She asks with a look of horror on her face. I don't want her to hate me. I need her trust more than anyone. You may be confused when I open this door, just don't panic, okay? I say, looking deep into her sapphire eyes. I try to once again give her a sympathetic look. Her life isn't going to be easy, it never will. She slowly nods as she walks towards the door. I grasp onto the golden handle and gently open the door to reveal the darkness hiding behind it. I gesture for her to walk inside, and she obediently follows my gesture and steps into the room. Once she stepped inside, I slammed the door behind her. She will run away otherwise, and she needs to stay there just for a little while. She begins to violently bang on the door. Raven, please, I'm afraid of the dark, let me out. She screams behind the block of wood. You're not the only one in there, Al. Look carefully around the room, I say, as soothingly as possible. I hear her footsteps leave the door and I sigh with relief. She will understand once he speaks to her, she will. At that moment, a large gust of wind gushes in from an open window. That window wasn't open before, I'm sure of it. I walk towards it and slowly look outside. No one is underneath it, in fact, there's no one around. As I close the window, I hear heavy breathing behind me and feel the eyes burning through me again. I quickly turn around to be faced with two Cerise fire-filled eyes. Hello, little sister, long time no see, he says, smirking down at me with his black scythe leaning against the wall. Blake, I say, looking into his eyes. What are you doing here, I ask. I heard you're declaring a war. I would like to hear your explanation, he says. Still smiling, what will happen now? Will he decide to kill me right here and now to help the enemy win, or will he assist me? Remember, he is darkness and he has returned. Chapter 14. Once a reaper, always a reaper. Well, will I be getting that explanation anytime soon? Blake says, sneering down at me. 2 years, I say under my breath. Blake looks down at me confused. Anger was now coursing through my veins. He hasn't shown up for 2 years, and suddenly he comes back thinking he can boss me around. 2 years I've been waiting, Blake, I scream at him. Causing him to take a step back. It's only 2 years. Not really that long. Why are you so agitated, Raven? He says, crossing his arms over his chest. We live forever, Blake. And every year drags on and on. Do you know how many days I spent staring out my bedroom window, waiting for you to come home? But you never showed up again. All because of your selfish needs, Blake. You put yourself before anyone, even me. I say, staring at him. The fire in his cerise eyes seems to calm down as he stares at me. He looks confused and afraid. What is he hiding? Don't tell me I'm the one who's selfish. You know why I left, Raven, he says. The fire returning to his eyes. You left because you didn't want full responsibility over the throne. If that's not selfish, then clearly I have the definition wrong. I begin to glare at him as I summon my scythe at my side. I grab onto it with one hand and begin to point it at my infamous brother. Leave this place before I force you to, I say, daring him to fight me. You can't scare me with your little scythe, Raven. I have one too, he says, swinging his scythe to his side. Yeah. The only difference is I haven't been fooling around on Earth. I have been training to use my scythe, and I think I can wield it better than you, I say as he looks into my eyes. Finally, he realizes I'm not messing around, but the shocked look on his face disappears and a smug smile takes its place. Are you sure you didn't fool around on Earth, little sister? Because I could have sworn you fell in love with a certain immortal, he says. Smirking, he knows. Just how long has he been watching me? I haven't developed feelings for anyone, and I never will, I say defensively. Oh, so you weren't a little hurt by this immortal when he called you a monster? This time he was daring me to answer. He knows so much. That's my brother for you, I suppose. Born to torment me. I was barely fazed by that idiot's comment, I say as confidently as possible to hide my lie. I knew it wouldn't work, but I won't admit any defeat against Luke ever again. My feelings for him are no more. Oh, so he's an idiot now. That seems quite a strong name for a guy you barely know and like. After all, how could you get to know him so well if you were only tasked to collect his soul? I think someone has been straying from their duty as a reaper, Blake says. Mocking me, he's too wise. He knows all the tricks in the book. Don't talk to me about straying away from my duty. I'm the one that took over your tasks instead of running away from the responsibility. I'm the one that has kept order in the underworld, whereas you have been gallivanting on Earth. It's one thing to mock me and my feelings, but when you mock my duty, that is completely out of line. Especially considering your position, I say, slamming my scythe to the floor. I stare into his fire-filled eyes with anger. I'm not going to be mocked about my duty. I didn't come here to discuss my absence, sister. I came to ask why you are declaring war. Blake's eyes became calmer and his tone changes from one of anger to one of serious business in a matter of seconds. He really does want to know why I'm declaring war. Clearly I haven't been stalked as much as I thought. Why are you interested, Blake? You haven't cared for my affairs for 2 years. What's so different now? I want to know the reason. Why would he care now of all times? Does he just want to betray me like Luke? You've been hurt, Raven, and I know that. I just want to know if my little sister is choosing the right reason to start a war. You know how much chaos this will cause. I just want to know that all the damage will be created for a good reason. His tone is no longer serious. It has changed to one of love and passion. He does care for me, he really does, reluctantly. I sigh as I give him my reason. King Adam Bloodrook is creating chaos among the supernatural world. Recently, many vampires have been killed for no reason. I used to point all this towards his brother Callum. However, since Callum was placed under house arrest, he couldn't possibly commit such a crime. Callum has since admitted that he has committed no crime and Adam is the one to blame. He has recently attempted to kill his brother's mate and has attempted to abuse her more than a couple of times. She is now under my protection until Callum can take her home and marry her, I say. Staring into his eyes, his expression is unreadable. I can't tell what he is thinking, and nothing else can be done to the situation. I quickly shake my head and reply, the king is abusing his position and due to his level of power. I cannot simply take him off the throne. If I leave this matter alone, there is a great risk that there may be a chance that humans will become blood slaves or constantly hunted down by vampires. This risk is too great to leave alone. War is the only way to stop him and return the throne to the rightful heir. Callum, then war is your last and only option. Blake questions me. I'm afraid it is, I say, sighing as I look out the window. The underworld will be receiving more souls than ever once this war takes place. Who knows what will happen? Then, sister, this war is for the right reasons. I would like to aid you on the battlefield, Blake says as he places a hand onto my shoulder. I stare into his eyes with shock. His are filled with determination. He really does want me to win this war. I immediately pull him into a hug. I've missed his strong arms wrap me up and keep me safe within his hold. He was my source of protection. Mumbling into his chest, I say, "Thank you," as he begins to pat my head. I'm determined to win this war. With my brother now alongside me, the chances of the supernatural winning is very slim. Chapter 15. Father Comes Calling. Ally has been relocated to a safer place. She's living with Callum and Jenna. It's perfectly safe because Adam thinks his brother is dead. Besides, he would have probably known she was here anyway. Just because he couldn't physically come here doesn't mean he couldn't send someone. Staring up at the ceiling, I lay on Blake's bed watching him shuffle around the room. It's weird seeing life, or should I say death, being put back into this room. Father doesn't know he's here yet, which is why he's nervously pacing around the room. If he thinks I took it bad, imagine what Father will be like. It has been 2 years after all. What do you think he'll do? Will he banish me for abandoning my duty, he says, staring into my eyes. I'm surprised you managed to abandon your duty, Blake. I would never be able to do that, I say honestly, staring into his fiery red eyes. He brings his hand up to his mouth and begins biting his nails nervously. Blake, I know this is hard to do, but when Father comes home, I need you to be as confident as possible. If he sees you like you are now, he has more of a reason to banish you, I say flatly, showing no emotion in my face. I'm not you though, Raven. You were always the confident sibling. I was the one that wanted to follow my own rules. Heck, you scare me most of time, he said, showing that he actually cares about me. I have missed the side of my dear brother. We both froze as we began to hear footsteps approaching Blake's bedroom. He took one big gulp until we finally hear the familiar voice. Raven, are you in your brother's room? The Grim Reaper himself called from outside the door. I looked towards Blake, apologetically, as I replied to my father. Yes, I'm here, Father, I say, staring at the wooden door. It soon slowly begins to open, revealing Grim standing behind it. What on earth are you doing in her? That's when he spotted his son. Anger began to cross his garnet eyes, fire filling them with hatred per Blake. Never should have abandoned his duty. Why are you here? My father growled, holding his silver scythe in his hand. He glared at Blake, waiting for his answer. Blake sighed as he stood up straight, returning my father's glare. Like you already know, Raven has proclaimed war against the supernatural army. So naturally I came to support her. Unlike some people, the boy's glares became more intense after each second. I just sat on the bed watching curiously. I've never seen them argue before. Don't you dare take that tone with me, boy. I've been supporting her ever since you left. Ask her yourself. I'm the one who returned her powers once they were stolen. My father beamed. I know, Dad. I saw you threaten the angel girl because you're so evil, right? Blake retorts back, crossing his arms over his chest. Both of their eyes began to glow with rage and anger, fire filling them inside. I should probably step in, but it's really not my place to. You saw me. So, even though you abandoned your duty of being a Reaper, you decided to keep tabs on the business anyway. Well, I needed some information in case you slipped up so that I could use it as an advantage. You of all people know that I never slip up, my father answered rather cockily. Oh, but dear father, you have. The slip-up you made was blackmailing the angel. She's the goddess of harmony, you know. My brother began to grin from ear to ear at this point. My father's speechless. I forgot to mention, Grim didn't know who Ally really was. Until now, of course. Father turned to face me. Great. Looks like I'm getting involved into this. Is this true, Raven? Father asks me, a confused look covering his face. Reluctantly, I nod. I did tell you that blackmailing her wasn't a good idea, I say, shrugging. My father sighs as he turns to face Blake once again. You're really not here to take your duty back, are you? My father asked. I don't want to be the next Grim Reaper, Dad. I don't want all that responsibility. Besides, Raven would make a much better queen of the underworld. Wait, did my brother just agree that I'm better than him? He does know that I'm not going to let him forget this, right? I softly smile towards him in gratitude. I glance up towards my father and he sighs. We're the masters of souls, we can never die. We have ultimate power, yet you want to give that all up. Why, what's your reason? I met a girl, Blake announces. That's when me and father both look at him shocked. Reapers can't love, they can't show any affection. I know that better than anyone. How is this possible? We don't show any affection, my father boomed. Questioning my dear brother. Well, Dad, clearly it's not true because I have fallen for a human girl. I think at this moment I wanted to shrink away from the scene. My brother abandoned me for a girl. Can it be so? Is my brother actually in love? My father was shell-shocked along with me. We never thought it was possible. Especially with a human. Don't look so shocked, father. Raven fell in love with an immortal too, Blake says, looking at me apologetically. If he thinks just a look will save him. Boy, is he wrong. Father turns to face me. This can't be. You haven't fallen in love too, have you? No. I could never love a monster. Besides, when I did fall in love, I didn't have my Reaper powers, I say, annoyed, crossing my arms over my chest. I understand her situation. What I don't understand is yours, Blake, my father said, again facing him. I fell in love just like you did once, Dad. With our mother, and just like that. Silence filled the whole room.